Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Zachary, back bringing you some more NBA news and updates. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, but you guys already know that we're gonna have a heck of a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just get into everything we gotta talk about today, but first I do have to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, SeatGeek. As most of you know by now, SeatGeek is the best ticket purchasing app out there on the market. Super easy to use, and they make sure not only hook you up with the best prices of tickets, but you can also get a view from the seats before you buy them, just to make sure you're not getting one of those seats that no one really wants. And on top of that, you also get an additional $20 off your first order when you use the promo code SDC at checkout. So if you're still looking to get tickets to a playoff game because you're lucky enough for your favorite team to still be in the playoffs, or if you're just looking to get tickets to a concert or any other live event, then you are for sure going to want to check out the SeatGeek app. I'll have the links down in the description box below. Now with that out the way though, on to the video. Let's go. First up in the news, Russell Westbrook, who has once again been turned into the NBA's punching bag after being eliminated for the first round of the playoffs for the third year in a row. He gave his player exit interview last night, and he actually said some pretty interesting things during this interview, which is actually a huge surprise because in the past, when Russell Westbrook and interview, when those two words were brought up in the same sentence, it was usually because Russell Westbrook was giving reporters a hard time, refusing to answer their questions. Anyways, even though Russell Westbrook answering questions from the media in and of itself is actually a pretty big story because this almost never happens, what's even bigger news is one of the answers that Russell Westbrook gave to the reporters, as the topic of him becoming a better shooter came about, and Russell Westbrook says that he tries to come back better at something every single year. A couple of years ago, he was being called a ball hog, so he's made it a point to try and become one of the top assist getters in the NBA the past couple of seasons. And this year, the conversation has been about Russell Westbrook not being able to shoot the ball, so he says that's what he's going to be working on next, and that next season he will come back as a better shooter.
Used to be conversations of I was a ball hog, but now I lead the league in assists for the past 3 years or whatever it is. That's getting squashed out. So now the conversation is about shooting. Next year I'm gonna become a better shooter. After that it'd be probably my left foot is bigger than my right one. Who knows?
So that should be some good news for any Russell Westbrook or OKC fans out there, because this guy has been dared to shoot the ball by defenses ever since he came into the league. They'd sag off him so hard, daring him to shoot, and he'd always shoot, which wasn't always the best thing considering Russell Westbrook isn't the best shooter. So hopefully he really does come back better next season. Next up in the news, speaking of the OKC Thunder, Marcus Morris, a valuable member off the bench for the Boston Celtics, as he averaged just under 14 points as well as 6 rebounds per game during the season, just kind of took a shot at the OKC Thunder. More specifically, I suppose, he kind of took a shot at their coaching staff, Billy Donovan, as he says that before his twin brother Markieff Morris decided to sign with the OKC Thunder midway through the season, that he tried to warn him that it probably wasn't going to be the best idea. As this is what Marcus Morris had to say: "I just wish he never went there because I knew he could have helped another team get somewhere just by the effect that he has when he's on the court. Early on they played him and I just felt like I didn't know what it was, but coaches get stuck on playing one way. I feel like in the playoffs, you need your bench to be able to come in and contribute, and I felt like they never really got the opportunity to do that. Playing 4 minutes last night was a slap in the face. I felt like my brother would have at least been able to muck it up, bring in some type of attitude, because they had none of that, or just bring something to the game. It is what it is. I'm not bashing them. I just felt like they didn't utilize our other guys enough." Now, I did think myself that when Markieff Morris originally signed with the OKC Thunder, that it was a great addition for the OKC Thunder. I thought he brings some much needed firepower coming off the bench for OKC. But then you look at the production that Markieff Morris did have with the Thunder this year, and it's easy to see that that just wasn't the case. He wasn't being utilized the right way, as he only averaged 6.5 points per game with the Thunder, the lowest point total that he's ever averaged at any point in his career, while at the same time just hitting 39% of his shots from the field. Once again, the lowest percentage that he has shot at any point in his career. So while he might have thought that he was going to go to OKC and be a difference maker, I guess he just forgot to take in the Billy Donovan factor. For our next story of the day, Damian Lillard really has no chill when it comes to thrashing the OKC Thunder after eliminating them from the playoffs. Because yesterday we had to talk about how Damian Lillard was still taking shots at Russell Westbrook with his Twitter history and the things that he liked on Twitter, as well as the image that he posted to Instagram that was a clear shot at Russell Westbrook. So we already talked about that. We talked about how Lillard has had his fun with Russell Westbrook, and now that Lillard is done with Russell Westbrook, he has his eyes set on another target, the other star player for the OKC Thunder, Paul George. Okay, so you guys remember how after Damian Lillard hit that game winner in Game 5, during his post-game interview, Paul George was a bit salty about the whole thing, insisting that Damian Lillard had just taken a terrible shot, and that's all there was to it. It's a terrible shot, and he made it, but at the end of the day, it was still a terrible shot. That's what Paul George had to say after Game 5, and now Damian Lillard is finally getting a chance to officially respond to this, as he went on CJ McCollum's podcast the other day, and this is what he had to say about Paul George saying that the game-winning shot that he took and made in Game 5 was a bad shot. It was a good shot. I think a lot of people don't know what goes into those moments. That's because they're not the ones that's there. I literally work on those shots, and I don't work on it so I can just come out and shoot it for the whole game. I work on it just because over my career, I know how much attention I'm going to get from defenses. It was like you're just keeping stuff, adding more things, adding more and more, keeping stuff in your pocket in case these type of situations do present itself. Even if it's not something you want to lean on, it's something you have there that you work on, that you spent time doing, so you've got confidence in it when the time does come. That's what I was saying there. I was like, well, it's probably not good in a lot of people's eyes, but I'm comfortable with this and I'm confident in this. So to me, it's a solid shot. Also saying, for him to say that's a bad shot, that's kind of being a poor sport. If anything, it was bad defense, because I had the ball in my hands with 2 seconds and I wasn't going to drive, so maybe he should have just bodied up. I mean, if you think about it, if this was Stephen Curry we're talking about, I do believe Paul George would have been closer to him the entire time than he was to Damian Lillard. He was playing Damian Lillard like at some point he was going to come up, take a couple steps closer to the basket, or try and make a drive. There was some distance, and that's what Damian Lillard was saying. He was like, you know what, I was just sitting there standing dribbling out the ball this entire time. I don't know what he thought. Did he actually think I was going to drive with a couple of seconds left? No, I was planning this shot the entire time. I don't necessarily think it's a bad shot because he was thinking about taking it the entire time, and if he's thinking about taking it the entire time, clearly he's confident he can make it. And if I'm not mistaken, the first 3 Damian Lillard made of this series was some ridiculously long shot as well. So we all know that Dame has that range, and if he has that range, is it really a bad shot? To a lot of players in the league, yes, that was a terrible shot. If it was Russell Westbrook taking that shot for the win, yes, it's a terrible shot. But when it's a player like Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry, it's definitely not a bad shot to a player like them. Next up in the news, the Los Angeles Clippers just keep getting disrespected. They're probably the most disrespected team of the playoffs this year. First up, it was Klay Thompson who disrespected them by saying the Warriors' real opponents are the Houston Rockets after Golden State won Game 4. Then after the Clippers beat Warriors in Game 5, Klay Thompson talked some more trash this time, saying that the Warriors are going to go back to LA and win Game 6 by 30 points. So once again, throwing even more shade and disrespect the Clippers' way. But not only that, now the Houston Rockets have also joined in on the fest of just disrespecting the Los Angeles Clippers. As even though nothing has been decided in this Warriors vs Clippers series yet, the Houston Rockets are also treating the series like it's already over, as they decided to fly down to Golden State already in preparation for their second round matchup with the Golden State Warriors. The Rockets will travel to the Bay Area on Friday to give themselves the best chance to be prepared for a potential Game 1 vs the Warriors on Sunday. The Rockets intend no disrespect to the Clippers, but they want to make sure they adjust to Pacific time and will practice on Saturday at the Oracle. Whenever someone starts off by saying no disrespect, even if they really mean no disrespect, the next thing that comes out of their mouth is often going to be very disrespectful. And while you can understand what the Rockets are doing here, they're preparing for the odds. The odds are that they are going to face off against the Golden State Warriors, and they just want to be prepared for that. So that in and of itself, I don't think they meant to be disrespectful. They just once again playing for the odds, preparing for the odds, technically doing the smart thing here. But if you're the Clippers and you're looking at this, on one hand you have Klay Thompson saying they're about to smoke you guys by 30 points, and then on the other hand you have the Houston Rockets preparing to face the Warriors when you're still right there in this series. Even though there may have been no disrespect intended, that's still nothing but a massive amount of disrespect being thrown the Clippers' way. Now though, for what will be our final story of the day, the San Antonio Spurs have officially forced a Game 7 in Denver, as with the Spurs facing elimination, they held off the Nuggets in the second half to come away with a 120-103 win despite Nikola Jokic scoring the most points by any player in Denver Nuggets playoff history, as Jokic poured on 43 points to go along with 12 rebounds and 9 assists. But like I said, this still wasn't enough. That has to be demoralizing for Nikola Jokic. DeMar DeRozan, though, he may not have scored nearly as many points as Jokic, but he was still terrific last night nonetheless, as in the second half, he could do nothing wrong. I think he only missed one shot that entire second half and finished the game with 25 points on 12 of 16 shooting from the field. Game 7 is definitely going to be a must-watch, and it'll take place this Saturday in Denver. That, though, is actually going to do it for everything that we gotta talk about today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, you already know to go ahead and destroy that like button, as well as make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you once again for watching, though. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, but with that being said, until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here.